Just wanted to, in this video, have a look at popping your artwork onto the actual lamp template itself. You can download it off the class page, so that's pretty straightforward. And when you open the document, it'll look something like this. I've got two pieces of artwork here that I've brought in, ready to get going. But you'll notice that across here, there's a bit of text which tells us a little bit about the technical specs that they need to create your artwork with the laser. So you'll notice here that if we zoom in, that the main things to know is really that we've got different colors that tell the laser what to do. Okay, so I've got green outline, light blue outline, so we can see they're just slightly different strokes. We've got dark blue outline, so we've got light score, dark score, light engrave, dark engrave. So the scores are just line work. The engraves are like coloured, darker fills, and then we've got interior cuts and boundary cuts. And I suppose the one trick here is we want the boundary cuts to be the last things that the laser cutter does. So it's a good idea you put your boundary cuts on the actual panels of your lamp, and the interior artwork we do as interior cuts. That way that the panels don't come loose when we're cutting. So let's have a look here. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and we can see here there's a bit of other specification here that we don't need to worry about too much. But what we can see if we zoom in is that we'll see that we can start to see the boundaries of this lamp. I like to go into wireframe mode, and you can go view outline. Okay, so you can do that, or you can use the command Y, it gives you the same thing. And suddenly the artwork becomes a lot easier to see. And I'll zoom out a little bit here, and we can see now the panels of our lamp. So we've got the side panels of these longer ones and the top and bottom of these two here. Okay, so it's all compressed up nicely. So what we would generally do would select these panels here. So they're currently locked off in layers. So let's have a look at our layers, and we can unlock these if we want to. So I can have a look at them, and I can zoom in, and you'll see that they're already set in red here. So we don't actually need to mess around with those too much. So we can leave those templates locked away for the moment. But you can see up here, let me just zoom out a little bit. I've got some artwork, and at the moment, because it's set in non-standard colors for what the laser needs to use, is that they won't have any effect. Okay, the laser will just totally ignore these pieces of artwork and do nothing with them. So we need to specify them in the colors we need. And in order to do that, if I click up here on the swatches, and if yours is kind of like just folded up a little bit, just drag it down, and you'll see that there's this row here, and they've got like dark engrave, interior cut, material boundary, we don't need to worry about that, light score, dark score, light engrave, dark engrave, interior cut, and our cut. Okay, so we know that our panels are going to be the last ones to cut in red, so we shouldn't need to use red for any other color, but we might want to say this object here, if I want it to be to cut out, I'll go interior cut, and I'll select that. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip it around and make sure that I've got this set as my stroke. Okay, so as long as we've got that set as our stroke, we're pretty good. Let's just have a look if they set specify 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Yep. Okay, so they specify 0.1 for the stroke. Now it's a little hard to see that as you work at the moment. You can see that those other lines are quite difficult to see. So I'm going to leave mine up a little bit higher at the moment. And then I'll dial it down right at the end to 0.1 of a stroke. But I don't think the stroke thickness will really make any difference for you. But we'll dial that down anyway, just for safety reasons. Okay. So now I've got this this other design here, I can choose maybe to fill that. So you can see it's looking black, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that'd be cool to fill it with a black. So I'm going to come up to my swatches again, and I'm going to find my fill, and I've got, so the fills are called light engrave and dark engrave. So if I click on dark engrave, I'll just throw it in like that, or I can set light engrave, but just make sure that we don't want that fill color. So we'll get rid of that fill color. I'm only applying this as a pen outline, okay? So it's just to this ring here. Okay, a couple of things to know about the when we do like this engrave type work is that it does create a little bit of kind of like burning ash smoke stuff, which can smear over the design around, which can be a little bit problematic, and also it can look a little bit blotchy as well. So I'd recommend not having too solid areas, but just keep it kind of like in smaller fills and things as you go along. So basically what you got to do is get your artwork all up to a point where you've got across all your panels artwork that's only set in those colors. Okay, so anything that's set in colors apart from these ones specified will it just won't work. Okay, so you'll come back with a blank object. So just take your time and get your artwork right, and check through it. So once you've got it all laid out across all your panels, you can save it, and we'll be getting ready to send it off to the laser cutter.